Hi guys, it's me Dominique and thank you for coming back to my channel. Today's video will be about base makeup and kind of face makeup, so everything to do with foundation, concealer, contouring, and then with bronzers, setting and baking, you name it, I've got it covered, I think. So let me know what you think and continue watching the video, and then please subscribe, like, comment and share, and thank you for sharing the love. Thank you. Hi everyone, so I'm going to be doing off my base today. So to start off with, I'm using the NARS foundation. I'm using the shade Valencia, and it's the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation. So I just get my foundation on a palette and I use the Zoeva buffer brush. It's the 104, and I just load it up on there. Just start at the bottom of my face. So I like to place it on and bring it down through my neck. Just bring that all the way into my hair as well. Also as well, if I'm not going to be wearing eyeshadow, I also put it into my eyelids as well. Skin's a bit redder than usual because it's been lovely weather, so I've got a bit of a tan and a bit of redness, so this will just take it out of it as well. And I just do extra under my eyes to avoid getting dark circles. So after I've used the buffer brush, I then go in with a beauty blender and just tap it all out like so. I then go on to contour, and that I use the Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade medium. So I start off with a brush like this. This is from Revolution, so it's got short bristles on it, but they're stocky on it, so that it really is a good brush to stamp in the product. So I just get it in the pan, and I start off on my forehead. And I just bring that down and keep it there. Might start off looking a bit crazy, but once it's all blended out, it'll look fine. Like so. And I like to contour my forehead a lot because it's quite large. But if you've got a smaller forehead or you've got different proportions that you want to carve out, then there is I think there's a thing on, I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen it, a couple of YouTubers use it. Literally put in what face shape you think you have, or there's a simulator that kind of tells you what face you have. Mine's round. And it will tell you what parts would work for you if you wanted to contour. So if you wanted a stronger jaw, then you shade under the jaw just like I have. If you want to carve out your cheeks, you might do it a bit higher or a bit lower or rounded a bit more. It just depends on what face shape that you have and what works for you. And I think with contouring, it definitely is a trial and error. Once you get something, then it will work, but it definitely does take a while to get into that, for sure. I then go in with a petite eye blender brush. This is from Zoeva as well. And this is when I do it just under my brow bone here, and I bring it down on my nose and do like a loop, then bring it back up on the other side and do the same thing again. The reason why I bring it into my eyes is because if I'm not wearing a lot of eye makeup, which I won't be for this one, it gives your eyes a similar colour to the rest of your face. I then go in with a blending brush. I think this is just a set I got from Amazon a couple of years ago. This is short and stumpy, but it also is fluffy as well. So then I just go in circular motions and brush it all out. So I always start off with my chin. Some contour products you need to be careful with in case they are quick drying. This Huda Beauty one's quite good. I always blend out in circular motions, because if you did it in brush strokes up and down, you're just dragging the product in the same place and it won't really blend. If anything, it will just get a bit tacky, and the consistency of it wouldn't be very nice. So I always do in circular motions, as it just goes slightly above the area, but you can always correct that after, but it also kind of blends it into itself but spreads the product just further along where you've already put the contour product as well. Then for cheeks, I always do it in a short bit here because I like to bring the product around. So as you can see, I've just brought that all the way from there to here. And there you've got definition of this one. So you look at this side of my face compared to this side, there's a slight difference where I've carved it out. Like so. So what's good about the Tantour product is that if you don't want to put bronzer or anything above it, it also does act as a bronzer. I think it says it's contour and bronzer cream. So if you wanted to use it and you wanted a glossy skin effect, I like to be quite matte, so it just depends on what kind of skin effect that you want. If you want kind of a hydrated glossy look, or if you want a completely matte look. You can either, for a matte look, you'd use this to contour, and if you wanted a glossy look, then you'd use this as a bronzer. So you would use it more on these parts of your cheeks instead of just the outside. You'd use it more on the inners as well. For concealer, I'm using the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo in the shade Light Beige. These are really good. They're very cheap as well. I think it was £5 for this, and this has lasted me a couple of months. This you can get from Superdrug in the UK, and online I think maybe Ulta Beauty. For my concealer, when I am putting it under my eyes, I always do it in a slight triangle motion, because when I'm blending out, I like to go down and then out as well in triangle shapes. I got this trick from, I think it's Makeup by Mario, when he was doing it on Kim Kardashian, and it's just something that I always find that has worked for me, especially if you contour as well. It does work well. So for the rest of my face, I always do a bit on my chin because I like that to be highlighted. I then also do the tip of my nose and then the top of my, or top or bottom of my forehead area. I then just take the beauty blender again and just start to dab it out. My under eyes, I start off in the outer corner and just start to bring it up all the way back to my hairline, so you kind of get a line going across. And then just bringing it down. I always go against my nose just to give it a smooth effect, and then just under my eyes here, just spreading that back out. And then for my nose, I just like to bring it up on the bridge of my nose here, making sure that I kind of stick within of where we put the contour line. Right, so it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can always go back over and set it again, or add the concealer again, or the contour if you've done too little, if you've done too much. So it all is just kind of a game really of how you get it right, how and when you get it right, trial and error. And then for my forehead, I just bring it above my eyebrows as well and just pressing it outwards like so. And that's it for concealer. If you want to blend it a bit more, I just go back in and get that buffer brush that we used for the contour, and just like to smooth the two together, just to make sure you've kind of got a nice gradient and it's not two different things. You kind of got it melting into each other as well, like so. I then go in with setting powder. So for setting powder, I always use the Huda Beauty. This is the Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder, and this is in the shade Sugar Cookie. So the Sugar Cookie one is a translucent one, so if you want to use one that has yellowy tones, then the banana bread one, I believe, is the yellow baking powder, which is quite good, but translucent works as well because it works for all skin tones. But they do have quite a wide range of tones that they use in the setting powders as well. So I get a small beauty blender and I just get it into the applicator area like so. And then I'm just going to set my face. I'm not going to bake, because when I bake, I do it for when I'm doing my eye work, or if I'm doing heavier eyes or something. And for just like for a day-to-day, for a base, I just like to set it in place. So the places that I set are always the places where I put concealer. Any bit that's different that I like to set is I like to cut and carve my cheeks. So again, I just get the small beauty blender, and under the area of where you applied and blended out the contour is where I like to put the baking powder underneath it. So if I just turn my head to the side, under here you can see the line, and it's just dragging it down and cutting in with the powder to give you a line like so. I like to bring it out all the way to my cheek, all the way to my lip, sorry. As this really does give your face shape. Obviously, the way that you cut it would be the same, but in the shape or whatever that you want, but that would change depending on your face shape as well. So whatever works for you, again, it's another trial and error. It took me a while to get what was right for me and what worked for me. Like that. So that is baking. Or if you're baking, you would leave it on for say 10-15 minutes, let it set, do your eye makeup, do this and that and the other. I'm just going to do my brows off camera, and then I'll be back with this all dusted off as well. So my brows have been added on, and I'm going to do my bronzer, blusher and highlighter, and then that will be my base finished. So I like to go in with the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Tan. And that is just a small little compact like this, like so. I like to go in with a kind of a fluffy but strong tapered brush to do my bronzer. So bronzer I always put in the places where I've contoured, just to give it a bit more definition and to really bring the look together, because I feel whenever you put on setting powders, your face kind of flattens out and has no dimension, so the bronzer really does help bring the dimension back in. So I start off on my forehead, again putting it on in circular motions. If you didn't want to use contour cream, you could just contour with the bronzer instead, or use a contour powder as well. For myself, I feel personally that doing both for me works, and using the bronzer just to top up the cream contour a bit. I just feel like you get a better finish when you use cream products than if you use powdered products. For my nose, I then like to go in with basically a smaller version of that brush. This is from Morphe, and it comes in an eye set. I haven't got a code on it, I'm afraid. But if I find it, I can always put it down below. So I just go in with the pan. I just do the same places of where we put the contour cream, I put the bronzer as well. And that's that. Then with bronzer, I always use bronzer, that is this one here. With bronzer, I'm kind of new to it, so I feel like I maybe need to get more adventurous in future videos, but yes, this is the MAC, oh, can't see, the MAC Sheer Tone Blush in the shade Gingerly. And this one is such a great one. I've had this, I don't even know how long I've had this, but the colour is great. It's just got a lovely subtle tone to it. But MAC also do, obviously in the same range as they have here, they do have a lovely range of shades that you can also use as eyeshadows. You can put it anywhere, lipstick, whatever. So for like darker skin tones, the shade Sketch is lovely. And then you also have the shade Fever as well, which is great. The Gingerly works well, kind of, I'm like a medium skin tone, but it also works well for lighter skin tones and fairer skin as well. So I go in with a tapered brush, a tapered fluffy brush like so, and just dab it into here. And when I do my blusher, I have this weird smile thing to get the apples off my cheeks. So I'm gonna look a bit crazy at the moment. So you just get, you know, obviously haven't got to do the smile, but it's just how it works for me. So I just get the apples on my cheeks and I just blend it in And depending on how blushed you want to be, you obviously add accordingly. But then I also like to add it across the rest of my face. So I always do a bit on my chin, a bit on my nose, and a bit on my forehead, because it adds colour and dimension again into it. I then go back with my bronzer brush just to put the two together nicely and to make sure there isn't any harsh like stamp lines. Cool. Then for highlighter, my all-time favourite highlighter is the Jeffree Star Frozen Peach, and it's in the range of the Supreme Frost. So there's two frosts that you can get. You get the bigger pink one, which is more of a powdery consistency, but this one has a kind of like a gel creaminess to it, and it has small little crystals in it that just glisten lovely in the sunlight and just is everything. They obviously come in weird and wonderful colours. Obviously being Jeffree Star, comes in, I want to say it comes in like a lovely black, a green or whatever, so I may later on down the line do a video where I'm trying out different ones of these, so let me know if you want to see that. So this is in the shade Frozen Peach. I get a Morphe 501 brush and I just go into the pan again, it's broken, and just swoop it in small little circular motions along the cheekbone here. I also find if you wet the skin, it makes highlighters and everything stronger. So say if you do your blushes and your bronzers, you then spray your face with this MAC Prep Fix Plus, and then the highlighter will stick to it more. I then go across my head in a diagonal line here. So I kind of start from the tip of my eyebrow and go up to my head. And again on this side here, and then I do on my chin as well. And then to get a smaller brush, this is from a Primark eye blending brush, but you can get blending brushes like this everywhere, whatever brand you go to. And just going in on that again, I just like to do above here on the top of my Cupid's bow. Then I'd like to do the tip of my nose here, and then this like indent bit of your head. So I then like to bring a bit just under my brow bones here, because I always do it if I'm wearing eyeshadow anyways, just to give it an extra pop. But I feel especially if you're wearing no eye makeup on it, it just gives you a little more of a glow and a little more of a natural kind of look, like so. So after all of that is done, I then go back in with the bronzer brush again, just to make sure that you haven't got those harsh metal lines, and to blend the two together and just blend it into my head a bit. I then get the MAC Fix Plus and use this to set my face. And that is it for the base. So thank you for watching, and there's more videos coming. Thank you, guys.